It is so hot. I'm just holding the camera. I wanted to welcome you into my art studio because I wanted to start doing some art studio vlogs just because I want more of my daily life and my creative living on my channel. In this vlog, I'm going to show you the state that the studio was in at the end of September. I was so busy, I couldn't stop to rejig the art studio because I was churning out those paintings. So you'll see the disaster in all its horrendousness, and you'll see me rejigging it all. It's a nice way to give you a studio tour. I'm going to do you a tour at the end. I'm really pleased, guys, with how the art studio is looking. So my very first art studio vlog as part of an ongoing series of videos I want to share. I hope you enjoy it. I'm in my art studio and I don't know whether I've got the nerve to turn the camera around to show you the disaster. It's a complete mess and it's not working because the paint set up there means I can't get to the desks. Put laundry in here. I've got my exercise equipment in here. You can see this desk here where I've been art journaling. Because I've lost the big desk, that's just got a mess. This big crate here, that's where I keep all my power tools. Look at the state of my desk because I can't get past because I've got oil paints there. I've knocked this pot off here so many times onto the floor. It's not even funny. So I'm thinking that the best place for the oil paints is going to be in this corner over here, because I've got all the windowsills I can put paintbrushes on. I'm not walking past it so nothing will get tipped up. Yeah, I think that might be the best place for it. And if you wonder what the tree is doing, I've got some of the bigger branches I had to cut off the tree in the garden because I didn't want them going off site because of the energy in them, and I want to wrap them. They're for varnishing, painting and wrapping. So that's why there's a tree branch in here. But yeah, you can see it's just the right state really, isn't it? So it's bohemian, guys, it's bohemian. I really did not think, in amongst all this tidying, that I would be telling you this week that I've started another art challenge. But it's October and Mab Graves, who is one of my all-time favourite humans in the world, and if you've not seen her, I'll leave a link to her Instagram. She's amazing. She always does drawing in October, and I wanted to take part again. It didn't feel like October without doing even just a few drawing prompts. So I'm decided to join in with some of this prompt list, which is all sort of Halloween and monster and witchcraft inspired. So I'm joining in. So I'm going to show you some of the art journaling I've been doing for that. It's been so much fun. So you can see I'm working in an altered gardening book, which I've had on my shelves for a while. This first piece actually isn't a Draw-A-Lean prompt double spread. This is where I did the writing for the White Heart spread that I did, and when they shot the white stag, and I'd got that writing drawn under that sort of industrial grid of mixed media, and I wanted to leave this double page spread free for some more journaling around that. So I got my gesso out. You can see that's just really cheap sort of Poundland gesso there, and while I was gessoing pages, I got other old diaries out and started gessoing some of the pages on there. I think that's a 2018 diary that's hardly been used, that was just thrown in with my stationery. Very thin paper on this one. I'm not sure how that one's going to hold up, but it was just an experiment. And once that gesso had dried on this first double page spread, I did one of my favourite techniques, which I've used outside in the garden on fences as well and on doors, which is like splitting serviettes down to just a single layer and then PVAing them on. They almost go transparent, but they leave the picture there. Of course, each of those layers, the gesso layer and this serviette glue layer, it does take an overnight each time to dry. So this is why I think it's really useful having more than one altered book or more than one sketchbook on the go. If you've got multiple things on the go, then you're not waiting days for things to dry. You can just do the next layer, put it to dry, and then move on to something else. It's the same with the oil paints and canvases. If you are using oil paints, not adding any medium into them to speed their drying process up, it's useful to just have more than one canvas on the go. I then decided to add some leaf skeletons. I wanted to add to this spread the idea of things that are slipping from our memory, things that once were but aren't anymore. And the leaf skeleton, it's kind of like a memory of a leaf, just like the deer was there and now it's no more. So that's why I started adding that idea of leaf skeletons. I don't mind about covering up the writing that I did earlier, because I think this is all just expressing how I feel. And then again, I went into scrap paper. This is a covering from my toilet paper wrappers. It comes wrapped in paper. Again, just all things to do with waste and things we throw away. And I just started doing little sketches, just fast little pencil sketches of some of the vintage toy cars that I've got in the house. I wanted to add some sort of urban imagery onto this spread to kind of talk about the fact that the White Hart came into our territory. Now this is the next page. I didn't gesso this page. This has got bits of scrap paper glued over to make a surface to draw on. This was the first of the Draw-A-Line prompts that I did, which was the word haunted. And I love veiled figures. I just love them. I've drawn them lots of times before. So I immediately knew I wanted to draw a veiled figure. But as I was drawing, the fact that it was a gardening book and I could see on the opposite page some of the flowers from what the book originally was, I did a holding flowers and I copied some of the shapes and the flowers that were there. And I decided I didn't want to cover up all of those flowers. So I tore some of the flowers out further on in the book and kind of gave them to her to hold like balloons, like almost like memory flowers. The photocopied lace as well I tore out and put on, because for me, lace and anything with holes in and voids, it's got a real emotional meaning to me about recovery, really. And you can see I didn't want to gesso over those flowers that inspired it all either. So this became just an exploration around the theme of being haunted by memory, and I called it Haunted by the Flowers You Never Sent. And it's just sparked a real theme in my mind, I think, that I want to explore. And you can see me exploring it again with the prompt of witch on this second gessoed page. You can see I left the flowers out again that you can see. And what I wrote on Instagram to share with this piece, I think sums up what this piece is all about. I wrote, they had tried to break her, and for a long time she thought they had. But over the dark years, a gentle whisper had beckoned, and eventually she found herself following its call and venturing out into a forgotten garden. And with hands in soil and the song of a much gentler mother in her ears, she discovered that the seed of herself was still there. It had just been planted deep to protect it from the winter storms of their cruelty. The colours that she grew brought life, and as that colour seeped into her soul, she sang with the mother and learned to laugh again. It is not the first time this has happened, for within the chaos of long abandoned gardens, you will often find a witch being born. And for me, that kind of sums up for me how I feel there is a link between witchcraft, gardening, creating and magic and walking that really strong path and a path of recovery, and that's why I combine it all on this channel. And then the next prompt I did was The Night Circus, which is one of my top 3 all-time favourite books. Now you can see this next double page spread. I didn't gesso it. This has old notes on from an old artwork. I don't need it anymore. But I love the tree in the middle because the book opens with the circus suddenly appearing and one of the main characters sitting in the tree and seeing it. So that tree really reminded me of the opening of the book. So I left the tree and turned the rest into this nighttime scene with this piece of circus cardboard that I just happened to have from an old circus foldable toy that I'd never made. So I started to draw imagery and add pattern and colour to do with the night circus, and it kind of just took on a life of its own, again exploring memory of my past life. I used a quote from the book that said, if I could put down in words everything I want to say to you, a sea of ink would not be enough. A beautiful love quote. And I thought about my own heartache and betrayals in love, and I kind of went with that idea of words and words not being said. I did some journaling, you can see in white ink on that. Again, I drew that haunted figure again, and then I wrote some of my own words about things that are said within love. And I wrote, in disbelief, a voice can falter on all the words still needed to be said. Slowly, in the shadows of circus days, those words began to soak away, down, 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 through branches and trunk and long twisting tree roots, until finally into the earth they dissolved, never to be thought of again. No longer needed, no longer aching to be spoken, and the stars began to shine. I often wonder if there were stars there before and I just hadn't spotted them, or if the full stops from the things I never said simply floated up to light the way. Now the next prompt was cryptid, which is a creature that may or may not exist. And I went to my tarot journal for this, which is another altered book. It's an animal world book. And I found this page with these strange underwater creatures on. I gessoed over a lot of it. I left a poem out with some revealed words as well. And I started working in this book. Oh my gosh, in amongst my art supplies, I've just found a old deck of cards, just playing cards, that I've just got in my art resources for chopping up. And look at the eye roll on the Queen of Spades there, which of course links to the Queen of Swords. She is coming out. I've decided that I'm going to have these two as Queen of Swords reversed, or the eye rolling queen, and this one as the mystical creature that may or may not exist, one that's lit up and shiny and doesn't sting you to death. So a page for the cryptid and an unexpected exploration of the Queen of Swords card in my tarot journal. So I really like how this is going. It's taken a totally different slant. I've got mermaids in there. I've got an underwater scene. I've tried to be really loose. I've tried to hold my pencil at the end so I don't get too stiff with it. I want to have fun painting it. And that's what I think I'm going to do. It was going to be a pencil sketch, but I think I am going to paint it. I'm going to go and put it on the easel here, and I'm going to try and stand up and paint. Normally I sit down to paint, but I'm actually going to put some oil paints on this and see how it goes. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so excited. I'm loving doing this. And I love this little setup I've got in this corner, and using this easel as well, which I found in a charity shop. I'm just loving it. So this piece has just really spoken to me. I'm really enjoying it. I'm painting directly into an altered book. It's actually my tarot journal. And these little creatures and the words are really, really helping me explore the theme of the cryptid, but also my ideas around the Queen of Swords, and it's literally telling me a story as I'm painting. And I really felt a need to put mermaids in and around this creature here. And then I realised, actually, hang on a minute, mermaids are actually cryptids as well. And it just all kind of came together. So I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm going to talk you through it so far, just so I can start documenting the process. So this is it so far. Now you can see I've got the idea of underwater in like sort of choppy waters. There are these creatures, the eye rolling Queen of Swords. So this would be the Queen of Swords reverse swimming around. So there's one creature here, and then there's this creature here with sort of legs that mirror it. But then this one down here that was still shining bright and still had its shine about it. Its body goes up here and round here, and then that appears. This was a nod to like the Loch Ness monster. Sometimes its body appears above the water, and look, I've got the Loch Ness castle up there ready to paint. And this is a cryptid that is still holding on to love, and it comes up for air. It doesn't just swim in the poison, it gets away and it comes up for air and it sees the sun. So you can see the ocean is here. I've tried to put like a beach area here coming round to the cliffs, so it's kind of not realistic, but I'm having so much fun with it. But then I decided to protect this cryptid that hasn't become a Queen of Swords reversed yet, with mermaids. And as I started putting the mermaids in, I just thought to myself, oh my gosh, these are cryptids too. And each mermaid is throwing out a heart and love, which are turning into shoals of fish around the body of the yellow cryptid coming up for air. I've started putting some fish in. There are some yellow shoals here. So this is going to be calmer water here, and then coming up for air here, and then the darker depths there. So it's so much fun is all I'm going to say. I think you can see that I had fun painting it. It's not finished yet, but I thought I'd share. I am having so much fun. I hope it shows in the painting. What a great way to study tarot. So this is it finished. I'm not sure whether I like it all really busy all the way over here, but it's finished. I loved painting it. It's going to be a really good resource, I think, for some more paintings. I like this idea of underwater creatures. I like this idea of linking it to my life with my own mother. That's what the story is in here. And then me as a mother. It's circle breaking in this. And I just have really, really enjoyed painting it. That's got to be left to dry now before I can start again on another page. But I think I'm going to use another page for a more close-up of some of these mermaids and just playing with the mermaid face. I just can't keep cleaning and reorganizing. That's cleaned. It's not really cleaned, it's just organized a little bit. But I just want to get back to painting. So this whole time of art journaling, I have been cleaning and it was driving me insane, so I set this up. Isn't that so cute? Look, if any doll looks like the sun, it's that one, riding with roller skates on an alicorn. Just fantastic. So it's all set up there, ready to film. That's my 10 of Swords cryptid page that I did yesterday. I've got all of the things drying here in the middle. Let me take you around here. My sewing machine is on the floor because I wanted to use this to photograph on. There is my salamander piece in my sketchbook for today's drawing. The salamander representing fire and passion and for me, action, fire and action, the wands, keeping focused, forward focusing towards your desires, your passions. It's a really passionate animal energy, the salamander, all to do with fire and flames, of course, and the flames of passion. Think the Lovers card, think the wands, and that's what I tried to represent in this sketchbook spread. But you can see, look, it's still a mess. I've been dragging things down, trying to find the right toys. Still got the dogs, pulling all the cushions off. I haven't mopped or cleaned the floor yet, which has got about an inch of dog hair on it. This area is working brilliantly, but because I've spent like a couple of days dragging furniture around, I wanted to do some painting, so I just thought I'd show you what I've set up ready to go in this corner. The sun card, here we go. I do have to say that when you've had a break from painting, even for a few days, which I have, these oil paintings, really does take a time to get your eye back in and your hand to brain to eye coordination. So I will show you what I have done so far. So I've just blocked in with some old paint, some greens and blues, and then I've started doing the outline. I like how free that horse is, and I think I like the composition. I like the fact that there's quite a bit of, you know, empty space top and in the middle. Yeah, so that's it. So I am so pleased with how the art studio looks. It is, I think it's the 9th of September today, so it's taken me the first part of September. It's taken me day after day after day, really, of trying to sort it, because there's a lot in here to sort, and I went through all the boxes and everything, and there's still things to do. I want to add some nice rugs and a decent doormat. I want to get matching storage boxes, so there's still lots to do. I want to get fairy lights everywhere for it, so I know there's stuff to do still, but it's so much better. It took about 3 different attempts to rearrange it, but I'm really happy with it now. So let me turn the camera around and I'll show you. Luna's wondering who I'm talking to. Rupert's outside pestering the squirrels in the tree. Right, so of course the old cabin bed has stayed put. Still got all the storage on the top. That's where I want to get matching baskets for up there and to sort it all out. The old tree branch is now here, which I absolutely love. It takes my art aprons. It takes some of my lanterns. I can put candles in at night. It's got some of my kids' artwork, some little love quotes I've made into artwork. It's got some early paintings, me very first trying to do oil paintings. That was copying from photographs. So this side is similar, but it's just really tidy. And all of my shelves here, I've sorted out all the pots. Look, I've got drawing pens, I've got gold, silver and white jelly pens. I've got all some drawing pencils. I've got just ordinary biros in there. It's all sorted. This unit here, which was an old medicine cabinet that when I used to rent property, a lodger left, that's been moved, as has this unit, which was a unit from my old kitchen. That's been moved onto here, but you can see that even though it's got those units added, the desk is, you can get to the desk now really easily, and this desk, there's nothing blocking the way. The oil painting unit that was set up there is gone. It's all clean underneath. The dogs have got their bed. That's my chair, that's their bed. And it's all really clean. All the junk has gone from underneath. Yeah, it feels so much better. The exercise kit has been turned around and is there, so I can still access my exercise kit and I can still get to the desks beyond. Now this side is where the biggest change has gone. This unit here was outside. It was outside here, blocking off that end of the hot tub. It was part of the hot tub surround. Now this was an old unit I got for £30 a few years ago from a charity shop, made from real solid oak, which I painted and varnished and treated and put in the garden, but it started to fall apart. This top I added this year as part of my garden renovation, and I just loved it. I varnished it and put serviettes on it and treated it. It warped before I had a chance to varnish it, but I love that. And I love the unit. I painted the drawers and it's just really colourful and lovely, but it wasn't coping with being outside. This cupboard here needs fixing. The insides were rotting. The drawers have expanded and now won't open. It was literally falling apart. So I had to make the decision to either bin it or bring it inside, one or the other. And I love it so much, I decided to bring it in here. So this had all of my sewing unit here, which I've now moved into the lounge, which if you want to see my sewing setup, let me know and I'll show you that on another video. But honestly, I could have cried because I was trying to make space in here where there wasn't space, and all of a sudden I'd got this massive unit as well to add into the mix. So it was a challenge, but it's been really worth it. I'm letting it dry out properly. When it's dried out properly, I can then use these big cupboards for storage. So it, you know, there's a lot of space in here. It just needs to dry out properly. This cupboard here, look, you can see this door needs fixing. That's really broken. It's all fixable, but it's just not particularly perfect. So that cupboard won't open without the door falling off, so that needs fixing again. But I love it. Even if I have to leave the drawers as on working drawers, I love it, and there's a lot of storage there. So that came over to this side. Eventually it will be for paint storage, and the top, it's got a nice area I can clamp onto and a nice surface where I can do videos and deck flip throughs and stuff. And I brought some of my plants in here. Now at the back here, this is an old spring that I got out of my daughter's old mattress. Rather than just sending her old mattress to the tip, I ripped it all apart to get the spring out the middle, and it was in my lounge as a spell wall. And you can see I'd started to fill it with dolls and flowers, but it makes such a nice hanging place to put real plants on and more silk flowers. I still want it to be like a little spell wall and a plant holder, but because I had to make room in the lounge for my sewing area, that this had to be moved really, and it needs to be moved because it was also where the Christmas tree is going to go. But it's really sturdy and it sits really nicely on this windowsill, which you can't get to really anyway. So I've brought it in here and I love it. It could be used as a pegboard for ideas or to put art in progress on. It could be used for so many things. So that's really changed. All of this is totally new. And then that leaves this corner for my painting. Nothing is walked past. It's not a through fair, so none of the pots are going to get knocked over. My little trolley, which I've had for years, I cleaned that up, got that out the garden shed. My big easel is here, and you can see I've started doing the next oil painting for the toy tarot. I wonder if you can see what it is. A child on a horse with a sun behind and a wall around. I think it's obvious. I've also got access still to my paper cupboard because this is easily just wheeled backwards and forwards. I've got my box there with all my paints in, and my little desktop easel, which can either go on here or on here to paint on. And I have got a painting that I've done this week directly into here. This is my altered tarot journal, so that's been fun to do. That is a study on the Queen of Swords, believe it or not, and I'm loving doing it. This big box, which I mentioned last week, which has got loads of power tools and things for the garden stored in, I actually picked this up for free on FreeCycle, and I put wheels on it so it's really easy to move around. That is just brilliant. There's nowhere else for this to go, and I use it all the time. So that I really wanted to stay in here, and but it's also a really good drying rack. You can see I've got all of the toy terry paintings out on there, and a few more on here. They're all dry now. I just need to get some varnish and varnish them. And then there's still room here for where we sit, for where the dogs lie when I'm in here, for my reading chair. I put my coffee there. So it just works really, really well. I think it's just been lovely. I've got my desk here, I've got my laptop there. Yeah, it's all worked really well. Both desks now accessible, and I love it. So that's it, guys. That's the rejig studio with a whole proper area for painting and a whole area for journaling or watercolor painting over here, drying places, relaxing places, storage. All it meant was moving my sewing stuff out. So I'm really pleased. I'm really happy. You can see, if I take you up, you can see it's actually a conservatory with blinds in, because it does get warm in here. It gets warm and cold, which will be interesting, but I quite like that. And of course all the doors open up onto the garden, which is just abandoned at the moment, but we won't talk about that. Okay, I'm going to show you an art haul now. I've got an art haul. Whoa, I haven't ordered any art supplies for, oh my gosh, 2 years. So I ordered from Jackson's in the UK, Jackson's Art, some things because I used up an entire tube of oil paint. Never done that before. It was so exciting. So I'm going to open this box and I'm going to show you what I've got. It's not a huge art haul, but it's exciting. I've got any scissors. I'm in my art studio, for goodness sake. Look, I'm using a key. Right, let's get in. Let's see what we've got. Okay. Oh, little boxes. Little boxes. Ah. I can't remember ordering this. Okay, I can't remember ordering it. Fair enough. Right, what's in here? Goes to show, honestly, I only ordered it a week ago. This is what my brain is like. I was looking at them, but I can't remember having ordered it. Oh, I do like this paper. I'm going to open this a bit more carefully. This paper's got a lovely texture to it. Okay, can we get this open without ripping it? Oh, I need to not be so excited. Look how I open things. It looks like a pack of lions has got to it. Odorless thinner. So, Bob Ross odorless thinner for my paints. So for oil paints and for cleaning brushes, just to try and keep my brushes a bit better and to thin the paints without all the odour of white spirit. So there's that. I thought that might be a bit bigger actually, because it was really expensive. I do have white spirit, but it just smells so bad in here. Even with all the doors and the windows open, it still really smells. Okay, what's in here? Look at this. I ordered Jackson's Own, and it's just a titanium white. Jackson's Own oil paint. This is a sketchbook. It's a premium sketchbook. This looks so little. Right, this, it wasn't cheap. It was just over, it was just under £14. That's the spending money police coming for me. And I haven't had a sketchbook that's just a plain sketchbook to work in for ages. So I thought I would give one of these a go. It's a Stillman and Burn premium sketchbook. Paper is gorgeous, and it does feel lovely actually. A brand new sketchbook, all the possibility of a brand new sketchbook. I've got this to try painting directly into, and look, it does lie flat, so I think that's going to be lovely. Yeah, look, it does. A brand new sketchbook to try things out. I only ordered the little one just to see. I thought I'd cancelled the order because I panicked about spending money. Also, my friend came round for a cup of tea this week, and she does a lot of art journaling. And in one of her packages, she'd received 2 of these. So she kept one for herself and gave one for me. It was just part of the packaging. But isn't that amazing? Look at that. So that's new to my art studio this week. I might turn that into some sort of painted book. I think that would be so much fun. And then also secondhand, I'll show you what I was inspired to order as well for the art studio. Now, you will have seen that I've been doing some art journaling this week. And you will have seen these pieces done from Mab Graves Drawling prompts. On these, and I've been loving it so much. But this is an altered book that I had for a while. You can tell how long I've had it because it's got some garden journaling in that I did with Busby when he was about 4. So I've had it on my shelf for a long time, but I only just started working with it properly. But what it was a Reader's Digest, the Gardening Year book. Which I bought for like £1 from a charity shop because I liked how square it was, with the intention of turning it into an art journal. But as I've been working in it, I thought, do you know what, it's quite a good gardening book. So I thought at some point I needed to reorder it as a gardening book. But I've loved using it so much this week that I thought, I wonder if I can find any more of these, not only to order one to have on my shelf as a book, as a gardening book, but one to use as another sketchbook as well, just to like have another 2 of them on the go. So I went online and I found 2 secondhand. I think I paid £3 for this one. I think I paid £4 for the other one. This one is a little bit worse for wear. Some of its pages are coming loose, and it's got that smell of an old book, so you can see it's a little bit more battered, and it's just, yeah, this was the £3 one. So because this is already starting to fall apart, I'm going to have this just as the book that I keep to read as a gardening book. But I managed to find another one in much better condition with its sleeves still on, which I will take off, just to have as another book to adapt. I love the idea of leaving some of these flowers visible, because the illustrations of the flowers are beautiful old illustrations, and you can see that I did that here in this one, and the flowers have started like becoming part of my development of ideas. So and also I ripped out some of the illustrations you can see here for the flowers that she's holding, so these are torn out from other pages. So I've just loved using this book. So a really cheap way of getting a sketchbook. You do need to gesso the pages if you want to paint over them, or you can just collage straight onto them, but a lot cheaper really than a sketchbook like this. It frees you up because you're already like just slapping gesso on it before you even start. It's not quite got such the scare factor as a posh sketchbook. I'm much more scared about starting this than I am another one of these. But that's been it. That's been my art haul for this week. So some freebies, some recycled stuff, some secondhand stuff to adapt, some proper art kit as well. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. That was my first art vlog with an art tour thrown in as well. I hope you liked it, and I hope you're going to like some of these art vlogs on the channel, whether you're here for tarot or art witchery or creative living or just for art itself. It's going to be a combination of everything. I don't want to split myself over different channels. I think it all combines under the heading of just creative, magical living, and finding ways to throw creativity into the mix if you're a magical soul. So I hope it makes sense to you that I'm adding this on. I hope you'll stay with me. And thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.